My beautiful people, the issue surrounding Nigeria country is so very alarming, and we do not know where it will lead to. They would always say, how did we get here as a country? Yes, Buhari should resign, and this is what it is. In a stronger editorial 2 days ago, Daily Trust lamented retired Major General Muhammadu Buhari incessant yet fruitless foreign travel. It cited its December 1 travel to a Dubai exhibition, to which he was accompanied by an entourage which included 10 ministers and the heads of Nigeria's security agencies. Pointing out that visits came a few weeks after rapid trips to Saudi Arabia, Scotland, France, and South Africa. Daily Trust said in all of the 6 years that he has been in office so far, President Buhari has traveled 130 times to 36 countries altogether, spending about 308 days. Wow. 308 days. As poor as that picture is, the Abuja-based powerhouse further lamented that while Buhari finds easy reasons to embark on foreign trips, he almost always needs to be persuaded to visit the states and communities within Nigeria that are deserving of his presence. Worse still, it has been observed that on the occasion he visits Nigerian state, he hardly stays long enough to make them meaningful to the people. The newspaper encouraged that Buhari, in what remains of his tenure, to turn his attention inwards and undertake visits to states and communities in the country and engage with them more, stressing that the country and its citizens require his attention. Well, I fully agree with Daily Trust, but I disagree with its conclusion because it does not flow productively from its analysis. Definitely, if we watch this thing very vividly, I would say your own state or your own. You shouldn't be forced to mingle or relate with the people. Except Buhari wants to make us believe that what Nnamdi Kanu has been saying by cloning Sudan, you know what I mean. That what he has been saying is true, because he believes going abroad or going internationally, they do not really know who he is. That is an opinion though. I would say if definitely is going back and forth to visit his hometown, they know him, or those that know him as far as they are concerned, he grew up in the presence and they have known Buhari, the real Buhari. Because where I'm really going to the point is that if definitely he tries to visit his hometown, I believe things will unfold. He prefers going abroad, and I don't know why he goes abroad and what are the reasons. Apart from the official duty, and I don't know why he cannot willingly visit his own people or his home. And that is an irony, and that is very mysterious. Worse still, it has been observed that on the occasion he visits Nigeria state, he hardly stays long enough to make them meaningful to the people. Well, they are not saying they want to encourage Buhari. No, you don't need to encourage somebody. Your own. Well, I fully agree with Daily Post there, but definitely I disagree with its conclusion. Well, if Buhari, even when he is in the country, is reluctant to serve his country, the answer is not to turn around and pretend to love them. If this preference is for the glitz and glamour of the executive jet towards events where he reads written speeches and enjoys the fake adulation of diplomats and dignitaries, the answer is not that. He drag his supercilious presence before poor Nigerians and critical audience. That is show business. Definitely, it's just a show business. I've always said it. When you want to talk about your country, the country you grew up in, the country you so much love, so you read speech, what is being written, you make it official. That means you are not sympathetic. In the area of security, especially, Buhari is nowhere to be found, and that is why the fault is going to him. Let us examine the evidence and also the charges against Buhari are on the front pages of every newspaper. Yes, that is because when we start to clamor and ponder over this, I will assume that Buhari is just only representing Nigeria. He's not presiding. He's not presiding. No, Buhari is only representing Nigeria. Like I've always said it, the only person I think is presiding and is really, really, carrying out so many actions, is just Malami. Malami is just who is presiding over Nigeria, while Buhari traveling up and down, representing Nigeria, not as a president, or not as a citizen, just representing Nigeria, just to fulfill all righteousness. Well, let us examine the evidence. The charges against Buhari are on the front pages of every newspaper in the land, including Daily Trust. Murder, arson, mayhem, death, destruction, kidnapping, ambushing, beheadings, abductions, easy violence, cheapened life, tears, each in increasing measure. This dystopia is in the security sector alone, which is the first job of any government. Yes, the security and life and properties of the citizen should be the number one priority of the government. Well, it is in the face of this assault on every known measure of security that Buhari travels and pleasures himself around the world. The answer, therefore, here in his seventh year is not that he learns to respect and serve his people. That is too late, too far-fetched, and too unrealistic. The productive conclusion is that Buhari never cared for the reality of governance and should step aside. Now everybody is trying to, mind their word, should step aside. But the basic truth is Buhari should be impeached or he should resign. So stepping aside is like you are, trying to, play to the gallery. You just want to step aside and observe. No. Resign or be impeached, let someone else get into that position. But he's a ruler, not a leader, and does not understand the content of leadership at all. This is the reason why with 18 months left for him, he needs to be reminded of his job. Maybe he's not reminded and he does not know what that job entails. Well, which is that the country and its citizens require his attention, not just attention, but action. Let us be fair but clear. Buhari did not create the jungle that Nigeria is. It was, however, because of the jungle that he obtained the chance he sought to lead Nigeria. He has said so himself. He did not fight for election contest so he could drive Nigeria deeper into that jungle. But that is exactly what he has achieved through his leadership or lack of it, through acts of commissioning or omission, through terrible policy or lack of policy. Well, I do not make this call casually. 1 week after he took office in 2015, as it was clear there were major decisions needed to be made, but he appeared to deter. And what does that mean? I questioned whether Buhari was the lion or the meat. Well, maybe it's the author or the meat. Less than 2 years later, in February 2017, I made my call, sadly identifying the fail of the Nigerian leader and his party. That means what we are saying now is Buhari needs to be arrested because that's deceit to power. I will do this in less than this, in less than that, in less than I'm going to do this. That's deceit to power. And anybody that deceive his fellow man, to gain access or to gain anything or to be profitable, that means he has sinned against that person under the constitution that says deceit to power. Well, to think about Buhari since May 2015 is to observe how power affects individual holders. I wrote, sometimes a man takes office and becomes a prime instrument for building that nation or that community or that era. Well, and then sometimes a king assumes the throne, clothed in layers of gold and the finest linen, but only to expose his nakedness. Buhari appears to be later. That is why I said Buhari himself does not really know his left from his right. And I would always say it, Buhari is only representing Nigeria, while Malami is presiding over the country's affairs. What do you think? Well, go to the comment section. I would like you to share your views. Let's deliberate on this issue. Thanks for listening and God bless you.